Back in. Right, now we're actually going to start modelling, hopefully. To start off with, I'm going to just change a couple of things around, just to make sure everything's all ready and we're all ready to go. I'm just going to select this, and I'm going to move it back a bit. Because I'm going to be modelling in this area, I'm going to be modelling on exactly 0 in the centre of my screen, and I want this to be back about 500. I'll just come back into here, and we'll actually start modelling. Just wanted to quickly get that over and done with. Right, I'm going to start off by selecting a plane and just going to drag and drop it over this small section here. I'm going to bring the segments down to 1 because I don't need any really, and I'm going to convert it to an editable poly. I'm going to go over to my material panel and set it on. In fact, I'll just up the ambient a bit just to make it a bit easier to see for everyone. Right, now that's done, let's actually start modelling. I'm going to come into my vert mode, vertex mode, whichever you call it. I'm going to start moving things around. You'll be able to see what I'm doing, and I'll tell you what I'm doing. Well, try and explain what I'm doing. Basically, I'm going to be using this polygon that I've got at the moment to make a totally flat surface. This surface is going to cover an area. I'm not making it out of boxes and other things because basically I don't need to. The surface is totally flat, so I don't really need any lines in it or anything. It can just be made freely, really. In fact, I'm going to pull this back here. Right, I need to know what level this is on so I can carry on going along this line. So I'm just going to get the coordinates for this and just paste them into here. Just press enter. That's perfect. In fact, I'm going to need to do it again for another one. And then just paste that in there. Right, that's like exactly synchronized now. I'm going to start to gradually get the shape around this. I've noticed a problem already because I'm going to actually need to go further down than what my line is. Down to about there. It's not really a problem, but in fact I'm going to make the VTM as short as I can, so instead of faffing around a bit, I'm just going to basically show you just the basics of how I model a weapon. So I'm just going to not follow the reference clearly. Sorry about this. Well, not follow it 100% anyway. You never really, well, you can follow a weapon 100% if you're using like a million polygons, but I don't have that amount of polygons since I'm limited. I'm just going to do exactly what I did back then, just get that on the right. As you can see, I'm starting to build it up, adding more verts. Just bringing this round. Some people might find this weird, because I showed Mace from the Half-Life 2 forums how I model, and he was pretty shocked because he never actually knew you could do it like this. I know quite a lot of people model like this, but quite a lot of new people to games modelling and weapon modelling don't tend to do it like this. There are bad points to this, by the way, and I'll point some out later on when I notice some. Let's drag that across there. In fact, this top layer's a bit too high, so I'm going to pull it down. Just bring this around a bit, make sure everything's freely spaced out so I'm getting as much curve as I can in this small amount of polygons. Make sure it looks nice. That'll do. Just going to carry on going around this. I'm trying to rush this, by the way, if you haven't noticed. I'd normally take quite a bit of time thinking about what I'm actually doing, but I haven't got enough time to actually just do what I'd want, and the VTM would end up like goddamn 200 megabytes something. Right, I'm just going to quickly come back to my images just to check something. I'm just going to open this with, there we go, so I can zoom in. Basically I'm checking this area around here to see if this follows along the line. Let's go to the correct gun. Yeah, as you can see, it follows along the line, so just come back here and I can set this to the correct height. If I can select it. And then I can bring it down at this level. In fact, don't need them in there, just press backspace to delete them. Don't press delete because it'll literally just delete them. In fact, I'll show you what it does if you press delete. Just gets rid of everything. So press backspace. Right now that's about the basic shape. It was a bit rushed, but let's try and get this about here. Now I'm going to start. In fact, I'll just model this small section here. I'm not going to follow it 100%, but you can kind of get the gist of how I actually make things. There I just selected the edges, held down shift and just changed the scale of it, and it actually just creates a new kind of like layer thing, if you get what I mean. Like just creates, it's like an extrude, but in fact I think it is. Let's come back to this, just get the kind of like the right height. In fact I'll do another one, just make it look a bit nicer. Can make this a bit smaller, in fact, because I need to add more of an edge at the end of it to kind of have it bumping out a bit. Pull that down a bit. Bring this down, and I just start to try and shape it around the actual face. Bring these down a little bit. I don't want to be spending too much time doing this, but you can kind of get like an idea of the technique that I use to actually just model. I'm going to come and select them all again. Select the size scale tool thingy, hold down shift, extrude out some more edges so I've got a flat surface along the top, and just pull this out a bit. Shrink this down a little bit. Oops. Bring this out a little bit. In fact, bring this out a little bit to curve it round. Right, now I'm just going to do exactly the same thing again. Bring it out again, and then I'm going to go to my other view. I'm just going to bring this back down to this level, and that should be 0. So I just press back and then set that to 0. Now I can select my polygon tool, go to create, and just create a face along here. Now I'll come back to this one, and because this area that I'm actually drawing around now is totally flat, then I can just create one single polygon on it all, and then it'll just triangulate it. It'll probably triangulate it kind of like a piece of sparkly thing, if you get what I mean. In fact, I'll just show you. Can you see how it just triangulates it perfectly? And then it's, instead of having all these squares on it, then it just makes it basically lowers the amount of polygons that you use. You can see here as well, it looks a mess, but if I come back to here, take that off, it just looks exactly the same, and I've got the lowest amount of polygons I could have. Just come back, and I'm going to have to undo. There we go. Right, now just actually create the button that's inside it. I'm just going to select the face, and I'm going to actually